All right, turning now to Uvalde. Yesterday afternoon, the city suddenly released more than 3 hours of edited body camera footage. It gives a picture of that horrific day from multiple angles and from the perspective of the Uvalde police officers themselves. We do want to warn you, what you're about to see could be disturbing. The videos show the chaos and confusion as 25 police officers descend on Robb Elementary from multiple directions. You see one officer rush into the building without hesitation, but once the gunman shoots toward them, they quickly retreat. After more officers arrive on that side of the campus, they begin searching and clearing classrooms.
Get you guys out of there.
Come on, get out.
Ready. Come on. Anybody else in here?
Back outside, body camera video shows those officers pulling students out of windows to safety.
Hey, you're being a trooper, brother. You got this. Come on. Let's get you out of here. Let's get you out of there.
Here, bud, I got you. Wrap your arms around my neck. There you go, bud.
Trying to lift up his leg. Okay. Fred, can you reach the other leg?
Yeah, I got it.
Then later on, you see the officers waiting in the hallway. Finally, 73 minutes after the first officers stepped foot into the building, surveillance video shows Border Patrol's tactical unit move in to kill the shooter.
Also yesterday, the Texas House Committee released a preliminary report detailing its findings from the Uvalde school shooting. Investigative reporter Cheryl Mercedes has gone through every single page. And Cheryl, we understand nearly 400 law enforcement officers responded that day.
There were 376 law enforcement officers at Robb Elementary School from 23 different agencies. And the report from the Texas House of Representatives Investigative Committee found that there were, quote, systemic failures that went far beyond one person or one local police force. Chaos, cluster, two words used by officers to describe the more than 1 hour police response to Robb Elementary. The committee's report indicates no one took command of the scene. The school's active shooter policy, which was signed by school district police chief Pete Arredondo, stated the chief will become the person in control of the efforts of all law enforcement and first responders that arrive at that scene. But Arredondo testified, while you're in there, you don't title yourself. My approach was responding as an officer. Chief Arredondo testified that he immediately began to think of the attacker as being cornered and the situation as one of a barricaded subject and didn't think there were kids in the classroom. But according to audio from Sergeant Coronado's body camera, he later contradicts himself.
So we did, we cleared off the rest of the building so we wouldn't have any more besides what's in there, obviously.
While there was miscommunication among responders, the committee also noted several breakdowns in the school's security protocols. One being, had school personnel locked the doors as the school's policy required, that could have slowed his progress long enough to receive alerts, hide children, and lock doors. The attacker entered through the west entrance of the school, but the committee learned the exterior doors on the east and south sides of the building were also unlocked. The attacker still would have had the ability to enter the building. A coach reported shots fired over the radio, but when the principal tried to use an app to notify the school, she had difficulty making the alert because of a bad Wi-Fi signal, and she never tried to communicate the lockdown over the school's intercom. As for the gunman, the committee reports the attacker had no experience with firearms and that the shooting was likely the first time he fired one. And the shooting took place in the shooter's former fourth grade classroom, where his former teacher testified he claimed to be a victim of bullying. The committee also reported it disagrees with a recent report by the National Alert Center, which revealed an officer outside of the school was within firing range of the suspect before he entered the building, but waited for permission from a supervisor to shoot. The state committee learned through witness testimony that that was not the suspect, but rather a coach who was ushering kids into the school. Back to you.
Cheryl, thank you for that. The families in the community have been fighting for these answers for weeks now.
Yeah, and of course, all these new details made for yet another emotional day. Aniele Ruiz joins us now from Uvalde.
And Aniele, you've been there several times since this happened, also through the weekend. What are the families of the victims saying?
Well, guys, the frustration for these families continue after viewing the video and the report from the state. They tell us they know there was failure, but now they're looking for some kind of accountability. It was yet another day filled with lots of anger and frustration for the families of Uvalde. For almost 8 weeks, they've been waiting for answers to try and figure out what happened inside the school on that terrible day. Sunday, they went to the junior college to finally meet with the Texas House Committee members to discuss the investigation.
Hopefully, after all the facts come out and all the information is collected, that they'll find who was to be held responsible for that, and we'll start the healing process.
But some parents weren't allowed past the door. Turns out they weren't on a list.
I was really mad. I told them there that I was father to one of the deceased, and they said that my name wasn't on the list and I wasn't welcome there, that I had to get out. And I don't know who was overseeing that, but it's not right. I'm mad. I feel like they're making a mockery of me being a parent or the relationship that I have with my daughter, and I'm super mad about it.
Emery Joe Garza's dad wasn't the only one that was kicked out. Annabelle Rodriguez's dad also was not allowed inside.
Answer what happened to my baby, and now I'm not going to know what happened, because I wasn't on the list.
When we asked the mayor of Uvalde why some parents weren't allowed inside, this is what he had to say.
You're asking me something that you need to be talking to them and to the rest of the family. I have no control over that.
So who's inviting these families to these events?
The families made the list of who was coming to that deal.
So the families get to pick and choose who gets information?
It was immediate family that were allowed there. Again, you're asking me something that I can't tell you on the parents.
They're telling me they're pointing fingers at you, so that's what
Well, I mean, point the fingers at me.
But again, the families left with one goal in mind.
Somebody needs to be held accountable. Who that is, I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, the families tell us they'll continue to push for accountability. They'll attend all the meetings necessary to get that, even if they do get kicked out. And by the way, later on today, there is a school board meeting where we expect to see a packed house. Reporting in Uvalde, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Anayeli Ruiz in Uvalde for us this morning. Thank you.